Hello there people, Vestin here with yet another Legends of Runeterra match. This time playing a deck with Piltover&Zaun+Shadow Isles. Featuring Jinx 3 times and Elise. Right off the bat I draw Professor Van Yip, who is featured in the deck a single time, is quite precious and combos with a few things. Although he rarely gets the opportunity to do so, considering the fact that he only has a single instance of himself there. After a brief moment of hesitation, I decide to keep him there in my opening hand, to try and make the best use of him I possibly can. The earlier you can play him, the more of your 1-drops you can buff, and this deck features plenty of 1-drops. Not the least of which are the ones spawned by Lady Elise herself, with every single attack she performs. However, this is a risky strategy to a certain extent, considering the fact that Van Yip is a 4-drop. Thus, I will have to wait until turn 4 to be able to play him. Notably, I've decided to play and attack with the Hapless Aristocrat. I could have saved him for later, buffed him with Van Yip. I could have played him but not attacked with him, therefore eliminating the possibility of him dying and spawning the Spiderling without the Spiderling getting buffed. But such greedy plays, I believe, would not bring me victory.
Lady Elise, please take me home.
Hush, my sweet. It'll be over soon.
That is utterly terrifying and heartless. Flavor aside, I think I've developed a very strong board presence here. I have Elise, who's fearsome, so she cannot even be blocked by those minions, so I don't have to worry about her getting low on health. And then there's the Hapless Aristocrat, who can be blocked, but at the same time, in the process, as his Death Rattle, or whatever it's called here, spawns a Spiderling.
I must get out of here.
If he does get blocked, I will use my 2-mana spell in order to save him, unless he gets blocked by, say, the 2-1, in which case I'll be fine with that. Of course it doesn't happen. If he is going to get blocked by anything, it's going to be the 1-1. And my opponent presumably doesn't want to block him, because it's preferable to have fewer spiders on the board if you're playing against Elise. You don't want her to level up immediately. Thus, all of this is playing right into my hand. I could have made the decision to destroy the 2-1 with my spell and give Elise a better chance of leveling up soon enough. However, I decided that was unnecessary. I would rather keep my removal for emergencies. Another aspect of it is, of course, that the Green Glade Lookout discounts a single card in your hand every time he strikes. Thus, not using removal meant his demise at the hands of my spider, but on the other hand it also meant that one card in my opponent's hand did get discounted. Now I am quite tempted to play Jinx, but it goes against everything I've been waiting for.
Like this?
Thus instead I am going to play Van Yip, even though it obviously puts him in danger, because now he's on the board, he's vulnerable, he's targetable. To a certain extent, I guess it's a matter of preference. I could have played Jinx instead. I do not want to block with either of them. Both of them have 3 hit points. I am somewhat stumped by the situation at hand. Now, the biggest reason to play Van Yip this turn instead of the next is that the Hapless Aristocrat is going to die blocking this turn, and I want him to get buffed right now, whereas Jinx would essentially be of no use to me. She would provide no value. I cannot block the 3-4 because it is elusive. I just have the choice of either blocking the shadow or not doing so. Blocking it with either of my cards is going to kill that card. So I would either have to sacrifice Elise or Van Yip. I am unwilling to do so. I will instead use my Vile Feast in order to summon yet another 1-1. I take 9 damage to face, but overall end up in a pretty reasonable spot.
Sacrifices.
And of course, when I mention buffing the Hapless Aristocrat, what I do mean is buffing the Spiderling that spawns off of the corpse of the Hapless Aristocrat. The situation has improved dramatically. Now I have Elise, Van Yip, and 2 3/3 spiders. That of course is not all. I will have the opportunity to play my Astute Academic this turn, buffing her into a 3-4. After which point I can either choose to summon Jinx or just attack with everything saving my mana for a potential buff. After all, this seems fairly juicy, doesn't it? Elise summons another spider. It's very tempting to just block. And what happens is, of course, the oldest trick in the book. My opponent blocks, should have blocked both Elise and Vaniep. There's essentially no reason not to block Vaniep with Zed unless you really, really want to try and save his health for some reason. However, he was terrified of the wrong thing. Getting rid of the elusive minion is the best thing I can do here. Zed can be blocked. He has quick attack, which is annoying, but he can be blocked. The elusive minion cannot. Thus, my buff here allows Elise to destroy the elusive minion. If not for the fact that the elusive minion has been bounced back to my opponent's hand. Thus nullifying the attack of Elise, wasting my buff, but ultimately also removing itself from the board in the process. My opponent is left on 5 hit points, and Elise has leveled up. All the spiders now are fearsome and have challenger. My advantage is clear and terrifying, however, my opponent has a trick up his sleeve.
The shadows rise.
Dawn and Dusk means multiple copies of Zed. 6 Zeds are going to attack this very turn. I do, however, have a way of dealing with this. The Phantom Prankster deals 1 point of damage directly to the enemy nexus every time an ally on my side perishes. Now, it took me a while, a reasonable while, to finally realize this, but the solution to my problem at hand is quite trivial. I can desperately try and optimize here to make the best of trades, to try to keep something for next turn, take as little damage to my minions as possible, taking some phase damage, and then to attack next turn, crushing my opponent, or I can just realize the fact that I have 6 minions in total, with the 6th one being the Phantom Prankster. Thus, if 5 of my minions die, exactly 5 points of damage will be dealt to the enemy nexus, securing my victory. No point in planning for next turn, if I can win this turn. Before the match ends, however, Zed levels up. Too little, too late. Thanks for watching, and you will see me elsewhere.